Ladies and gentlemen, it's another beautiful day and we are here as usual to keep you updated on the major headlines as relayed by the newspaper. Thank you so much for joining. It's our favorite bilingual program, The Brief, as I earlier mentioned, which is dedicated to the review of striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, we are focusing on the outing of Christopher Fominyu concerning the Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. We shall equally revisit the victories of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon at the opening games at the Olembe Sports Complex in Yaoundé, where the Indomitable Lions defeated the Falcons of Burkina Faso by 2 goals to 1. We shall equally be having Maitre Ndive, who will be joining us from London. He is the leader of British Cameroon National Party, a party that believes that a mass election of parliamentarians into parliament will change the narratives of Cameroon or what is happening in Cameroon. Gwladys Bomotonguina is here as usual to give you the headlines in the French language. Bonjour Gwladys et bienvenue une fois de plus.
Merci beaucoup Lasha et bonjour à vous qui nous regardez. Merci une fois de plus de rester fidèle à Débrief, votre émission de revue de presse bilingue sur Média Prime et télévision. Alors ce matin, nous allons débuter simplement avec le journal Le Jour qui revient sur la création des universités d'État au Cameroun, à savoir l'université de Garoua, Bertoua et Bolova, des universités d'État très attendues. Les détails sont donc en page 2 et 3 de ce journal. En page 12, le journal parle de près de 50 voitures qui ont été cassées à Olembe lors de la cérémonie d'ouverture de la CAN. Nous continuons ce matin avec le journal Mutation qui parle de Samuel Eto'o-Fils qui a été placé en retrait le jour du match d'ouverture de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations. Comment est-ce que le président de la FECAFOOT a été privé des honneurs protocolaires et mis en marge à l'occasion de l'ouverture de cette Coupe d'Afrique des Nations au Cameroun? Les détails sont donc en page 7 de ce journal. Nous terminons ce matin avec le journal Le Messager qui parle de la sortie de crise à la FECAFOOT. Abdourahmane Le Trouble fait encensé hier pour avoir promis d'ouvrir la voie du dialogue à l'équipe de Samuel Eto'o-Fils. Il veut faire annuler l'élection de l'ex-Goliador. Les détails sont donc en page 10 de ce journal. En page 12, le journal parle du Sénégal et du Maroc qui sont donc en bout de l'ennui. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'était tout pour cette revue de presse en langue française pour ce mardi. Place à la découverte de ces journaux en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys. Let's kickstart this morning with the Lone English Daily, the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post, like I earlier mentioned, is outing of Dr. Christopher Fominyu concerning the 6-year-old crisis in the two speaking regions of Cameroon. Solutions or experts have actually virtually run out of solutions only in this edition of the State newspaper. Let's talk about national journalists who have been hospitalized after a robbery attack in Douala, Cameroon. CAF has equally condemned the attack on the journalists who came to do their job in the country. They were attacked in front of a hotel in the nation's economic capital, Douala. Take you now to this other newspaper, Newswatch. Newswatch is revisiting the outing of President Paul on the December 31st, 2021. President Paul Biya promised tough times for embezzlers of public funds, and he did say he was going to arrest them shortly after AFCON, as we are told by the said newspaper. So embezzlers face grips government officials as Biya hints arrest of embezzlers of those who have embezzled public funds, especially monuments for COVID-19 and AFCON 2021. Will News Watch, we are with the Sun newspaper. The Sun newspaper this morning is focusing on the victories of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon over Burkina Faso. That was at the Olembe Stadium on Sunday, last Sunday, where the Indomitable Lions beat Burkina Faso by 2 goals to 1, grabbed the 3 points at the opening match of AFCON Total Energies 2021. We end this morning with the Post newspaper. The Post newspaper is also interested in the 2021 The Imitable Lions whipped Stallions of Burkina Faso by 2 goals to 1, grabbing the 3 points. As we are told, the 2 goals were scored by Abubakar, as the Post newspaper is telling us. Thank you, viewers of Nigeria Prime Television. We are back in the studio this morning to continue with our discussions. Like I earlier mentioned, joining us is Maitre Ndive, who is the leader of British Cameroon National Party. He's always with us on the brief. Thank you, Maitre Ndive, for joining us this morning once again.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha, Gwladys, and your entire team. Always a pleasure to be on your program, and good morning to the beautiful people of the Cameroon.
We are beginning this morning with this sad news where 2 international journalists were assaulted or robbed of their property in front of a hotel here in the nation's economic capital, Douala. What went wrong, Maitre Alex?
The problem is when you are organizing a big tournament like what we have today, the African Nations Cup, you expect these things to happen. That's why we need more police officers in the street. And I understand this thing happens somewhere near Aqua Palace Hotel, which it's something that the police, they should anticipate. We need more police officers in the street. It's common sense, and let common sense prevail.
So what happened to the security or surveillance cameras?
I'm not sure. I read this also on BBC. They were talking about the surveillance camera, and they said the police, they are looking into it. But we need a more proactive police force. They should anticipate this thing. It happens everywhere, even in the Western world. I don't want to sit and start criticizing the police officers without having the full detail of what went wrong.
Maitre, don't you think some Cameroonians are of the opinion that those who do not want to see the AFCON 2021 being hosted by Cameroon or staged in Cameroon, they are the ones behind this attack? They wanted to sabotage the efforts of the local organizing committee when it comes to the tournament in the country.
Anything could happen, but however, as a lawyer, I wouldn't dwell on speculation or conjectures. It's very important that we get the whole fact of this matter. I understand some people will be happy for certain things to happen. But what I want to tell these people is that some of us who love football, sometimes we support Argentina, Brazil, and other teams. You don't need to be a Cameroonian to support AFCON. Sometimes people support football because it's football. They are Nigerians. They are people even from Burkina Faso and other countries around the world. They support the Indomitable Lions. It's a football team. So sometimes football should remain football. We should stop politicizing football.
Okay, Maitre, let's look at what the Guardian Post did bring this morning for us on its front page, talking about Christain, who is telling us, or who is saying that Cameroon can still live together. British Southern Cameroon and French Cameroon can still live together despite the 6-year-old conflict that has caused such untold sufferings on the people of Cameroon.
Well, I look at that article. I've been trying to read. I don't really understand it for one, because I was privileged to be one of the team of Mr. Christain when he came to London to launch his book. So I don't really think, I've looked, I haven't seen the entire interview, but when he said we can still live together, I don't understand, because at the moment we are living together. The only difference is that La République, when I mean La République, the country that had its independence on the 1st of January 1960, La République de Cameroon, have annexed British Cameroon. That's the difference. And they have annexed us and we are living with them. So if you could be clear on that part, what does it mean by we can still live together? Are we not living together now? Maybe under duress.
Okay, Maitre, and this very Christopher Forminion rejected President Paul Biya's appointment to take part in the major national dialogue where you were equally an actor, and is he not talking in the past, or is he not trying to throw water on the decks back now, since he had the opportunity to right the wrongs and he refused?
I can't sit here and be blaming Dr. Christopher Forminion, but however, I am not part of politics of absenteeism. Personally, I believe If there were more than 10 Maitre in that conference, we would have removed mountains. Unfortunately, some of them, they refuse to come for personal reasons. Then they are calling for other dialogue. We should never absent or say no to any dialogue. Whether it's what dialogue, go there and make your point. History will say you were there and you made your point. You cannot be telling a government that is in power, you tell your own tale. Even if a 5-year-old child have a gun facing your head, you listen to that child. At the moment, the government of Cameroon, La Republic of Cameroon, have got the knife and the yam. When we keep on telling them they must negotiate, they must do that, it doesn't work that way. I have my own personal opinion. I know what I want. If there's independent today, vote today to remain or to leave, I know what I will vote. But it's not about me. I'm not in power. I cannot be dictating on a government in power. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, it doesn't work that way. Gwladys, Bomotonguina has a question for you, Maitre.
Effectivement, pour revenir un peu à la CAN, les Camerounais ou bien certains journaux se plaignent du fait que le président de la FECAFOOT n'a pas été placé à la tribune avec les autres autorités.
Oh, moi je n'ai pas vu ça, mais j'étais surpris, j'ai cherché Eto, c'est le président de la FECAFOOT. C'est lui qui devrait commander l'occasion. Et il y a les règles de FIFA. On dit que la politique, il faut éviter ça. C'est Eto qui devait décider dans l'occasion là. Ce n'est pas les politiciens. Le football, c'est football, c'est FECAFOOT. Il faut éviter à faire ça. Je suis très, très étonné que Eto n'était plus en commande.
But he was there. He was at the stadium. If it was his choice, if it was his choice not to, sit at the presidential tribune, will you blame him for taking that singular decision not to be part of it?
You know what you're saying? Eto is the president of FECAFOOT. If Mr. Bia would have said, I don't want to sit in the tribune, does it work that way? When you are in a position of responsibility, you have no choice. You saw the FIFA president, he was there. You saw other footballers, they were there. Eto had no choice. They have to tell him if it was his choice. No, Mr. President of FECAFOOT, that is your place.
So who ensured that Eto was not part of the presidential tribune, or did not take part was not seated right at the presidential tribune? Who could be behind that? Was it CAF protocol? Is it coming from CAF? Could CAF have decided to do that?
I'm not surprised about what happened, because in Cameroon, we look down on people like Etofis, Roger Miller, and other people. Normally, it is football. We want to hear football. I heard people singing in the tribunal, Phobia, Notre President. They should be singing Vincent Aboubakar's name, Andre Onana's name, Eric Machupo's name, Paul Lisfai's name, Clinton Jay's name, and people like Roger Miller, Etofis. Don't be showing me Mr. Bia on a motorcade from A to D, using taxpayers' money on CRTV. What do we want to do? It's a football. We want to see Cameroon hosting the Nations Cup.
But he fought for the hosting right. He fought for the hosting right to be retained. Everything.
Mr. Lasha, what is very important, Mr. Bia fought for what? I've done more than Mr. Bia in that country without using taxpayers' money. It is a privilege to have taxpayers' money and you're doing something. It's not as if you're doing the country's favor. What has Mr. Bia done for Cameroon? He's not a businessman. He has not cured cancer. Where is he getting all the money? They say Mr. Bia have done this. It's not his country. He's just privileged to be the president there. And he's using taxpayers' money. It's not his money. I have done more as an individual Cameroonian than Mr. Bia without using taxpayers' money in that country.
So singing his name was wrong for those who sang his name? Is that what you're saying?
If you look at the FIFA rules on football, they prevent government and political interference in football. When you put on CPGM uniform, you sing for Mr. Bia in a football, that's political gesture. It is bad. It is not allowed in football. You go and read FIFA's rule. And Mr. Bia is very divisive. When you are a president, you are elected as a president, you should work for everyone in Cameroon. Don't bring a certain group of people putting on CPDM uniform and singing Pobia Pobia. You are dividing the country. This is why I keep on saying Mr. Biya is running a separatist government. He's responsible for, I call them separatists. The separatists is the government of Cameroon. When you even look at the development, I don't know why there are no stadiums in Manfe or in Kambe. How do they choose taxpayers' money on where to build stadiums or what? Who gave them that right? The people of Cameroon should speak together and decide what they want. Not some people.
But parliamentarians have been voted by the people. Now, when they go to parliament, what do they do in parliament?
The problem is they have used what they call parliamentarians as our representative. I would divert a little bit. Mr. Biya himself and other people, they say that they have given us an Anglophone as Minister of Territorial Administration. If a government should say such a thing, a minister represents the entire country, not Anglophones. Members of parliament, they think they are national.
Charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. So he has to start developing his own home village or city before talking about the entire nation.
It's the local council that should be developing the country, not the central government. It's not Mr. Biya who should sit in a today who does not know even certain parts of Cameroon and say there should be a bridge in Douala. You don't live there. Or there should be something in Banso or in Kikakilaki or in Mayenne. It's not up to Biya. It's the local people. Give them the budget, let them decide. That's how you run it.
But we have decentralization now, Maitre. What have they done so far since
decentralization is still a wishy-washy. It's not going to work. Why? Gaddafi never had decentralization in his country. You target the tribes and the clan and give them money, let them decide. That's what Gaddafi was doing. In the UK, we have something they call the Barnett formula. It is a mechanism used by the government to automatically adjust budget for all the tribes in this country, Scotland, Wales, England, and Northern Ireland. Give money to the local people, the region. Region doesn't define us, our ethnicity. People have different culture. I don't believe in this region type of things. Give money to all the local tribes. People have their priority. People have their preferences. That's how you develop a country. Because decentralization is just a wishy-washy. It won't work.
So what kind of government, what kind of system of government do you intend or want to see in Cameroon? Every day you keep preaching that you want mass parliamentarian from the northwest and southwest to go to parliament in order to develop. Do you think that those parliamentarians, if they are in parliament, they will be able to change or correct government policy?
Listen, we have in Northern Ireland, some of these parliamentarians, when they win the election, they don't go to the House of Commons. They don't go there. It means we are not represented there. It is very important because my point is, when you take those seats, you can walk away from that parliament. Then they will remain like Republic member of parliament there. That will be a statement. That's changing the thing. If you don't want to talk with us, and again, something that's very important. We Cameroonians, Africa, we did not create that country called Cameroon. It was two UN entities that came together, a trust system, country as I call it, because a country is a population, a territory, and a political authority. A country doesn't need to be independent. When we have those two countries living side by side together, then we go in what I call ethno-cultural democracy. Each tribe has its custom. We have to put budget in those people. Tribes should decide. We cannot make one size fit it all.
So is that different from decentralization, present day decentralization?
It is different because when I go, I don't see what a Bakuri man have got in common with a Lediale man when you go in regions. I don't see what a Banso man have got with a Bali man. So give people custom, determine how people want to develop. If you want to make one size fit it all, there are some custom they don't want to develop. It's part of it. I understand the former Prime Minister of Malaysia once said, he said, what was one of your regrets in your life? He said that there were certain people, because of their custom and tradition, I could not develop them. So give everybody's money. Those who don't want to develop themselves, that is their problem. Some people have development, some they don't.
Okay. Maitre, let's revisit the opening ceremony of the game before we talk about the performance of the Indomitable Lions, where many people apparently are not convinced with the performance of the Indomitable Lions of the country. What was your own appraisal of the opening ceremony of the game or the tournament at the Olembe Sports Complex?
One of the most important things when I see the good people of Cameroonians happy, shouting joy, it gives me pleasure. That's the first point of it. I like to see people to be happy. So this tells even the government of La République du Cameroon that, look, Mr. Government, when you develop your country, when you build your country like Qatar, like Dubai, people will be happy. But when you don't do anything in the country, there's no road, there's no electricity, people will be unhappy. People have gone somewhere, it's a nice stadium, there is joy, there's happiness. There's going to last for how long? For 1 month. That's the problem. We want joy, we want happiness that will last forever, every day. We need electricity, water. Those are the things that we need. Those are our priorities. If the government can do the little bit that they are proud of now, it tells you that they can do more. So, Mr. Government, for the first time in 40 years, you have seen that development is good. So this is time for development.
Okay, Maitre. And let's talk about the performance of the Indomitable Lions. They managed to to beat the Burkina Faso team by 2-1. Do you really think the Lions will go far in this tournament?
I will use the word that they manage. In football, what is very important, especially when a tournament starts, that win. Penalty is part of football. If those players they were not brought down, there was a chance that they would have scored 2 goals or more. So penalty is part of football. And when football, a tournament like that starts, people are nervous. You need that guts. It goes bit by bit. If you've been watching football, you always see the German national team will come up with a new team during the World Cup. You will know they will win it. They start bit by bit, bit by bit. At the end of the day, you see the Germans are lifting the World Cup. It is the beginning. I've watched other games. I watched Morocco play with Ghana. At the 82 minutes, there was no goals. So when you start a tournament, it's gradually. Now the Indomitable Lions have got that momentum, and I believe they are going to win it.
Okay, you believe they are going to win. Gwladys, we are gradually coming to the end of the program. Maybe one last question for Maitre Alex.
Effectivement, toujours pour rester dans les violences pendant cette CAN, on a un problème. On peut penser à un problème de sécurité autour de nos stades parce qu'on a enregistré près de 50 véhicules qui ont été cassés au niveau du stade Olébé.
Those are things that we need to anticipate, Gwladys. When you have a tournament, it doesn't matter whether it is Cameroon, it doesn't matter whether it is Britain or America. When you are hosting something of that magnitude, you have to increase police presence in the street. But sometimes, not all of them, my brothers who are police officers, sometimes they are there, they don't know they are at work. You see them in Vanta Pote, they are drinking their own drinks too and enjoying. They don't know they are at work. I will ask the government to bring more police presence. They should be seeing police in the street. It's a big occasion. And if you want to protect your reputation, there are criminals everywhere. So we cannot stop. No country is 100% effort when it comes to criminals. There are people who have their own agenda. So it's up to the government. That's why you are a government. One of the function and duty of a government is what? Law and order, national security. So they should do their job. Don't just be a government for the sake of being a government. A government needs to govern.
Thank you, Maitre Alex Ndive, for taking our time this Tuesday morning to talk to us from London. It's always a pleasure knowing that you dedicate some time to talk to My Media Prime Television. We are grateful, sir.
So, thank you very much, too, and thanks for your team. Without them, I know this program will not be available.
Thank you, Maitre, and thank you to our televiewers out there who took our time to watch this second edition for the week, which was produced by Christain, Tebong. We were Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha Kingsley. Tomorrow is another day. Bye-bye.
Welcome to a new world of TV broadcasting. My Media Prime. News, discovery, culture, sports, entertainment. A BT Media Group channel with slogan, The African Eye. My Media Prime. is 80% of content in English language and 20% in